Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, one of the badassest bassists on the planet, also known as the fretless monster, Mr. Tony Franklin. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. You guys are already a hoot, and we haven't even started the show. So
that's right.
Right. Off camera, we're really wrecked. But now on camera, we're just as crazy.
We gotta introduce everybody.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
So here we got. So you already met Ron at the Wisdom, but this is my cool, outrageous co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
How do you do? Nice to meet you. Did I have 50 pictures with you and I met you 20,000 times and we hung out at the Dome? Okay, nice to meet you. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. And what is it you do for a living?
Now, hang on. We got other people to introduce him to. So then, actually, you actually know our video mastermind. He's actually in Philadelphia. That's Scotty J. Scotty, say hi again to Tony.
Yo, Tony, brace yourself, man.
I am braced. Good to
yes.
Good to not see you, but hear you.
Well, I told you, you'd hear me, or I would see you, but you wouldn't see me.
Yes, exactly. Well, good to not see you.
Yes. That's what my wife says. Yeah.
That's what his wife says. Yeah. Then we have
as she was banging him
at our W4CY studios in Florida. We have Danielle.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, Danielle.
You floaty.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah. Whereabouts in Florida are you?
South Florida, where this hurricane is gonna get us.
Oh boy. Well, knuckle down and keep plenty of supplies, hey?
She's actually just hoping to find an older gentleman to like shack up with for the weekend.
And if she meets you, she'll sit on your face for an hour. So be careful. She's a very desperate woman for sex.
Oh, so we also want to give a shout out because Eileen just told me that Scott Page is tuned in and watching us. So everybody say hi to Scott. Hey, Scott Page.
How are you, my man? How's my buddy Scotty? I can't wait to see you one of these days and give my hellos to John Wayne.
There you go. You gotta love it all. So then, hold on, our last. There you go. You got to say hi to Scott. And now we have a chat room filled up with every country. We have Canada, Germany, Australia, United States, England. I don't know, all over the place. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, everybody in the world in the chat room.
There you go. Oh, man, I'm exhausted now. Okay, now you can go.
Where are you from in England?
I'm from a city called Derby, which is spelt Derby over here, but it's pronounced Derby over there.
I know it.
Birmingham, right in the middle.
I know it. You know, you're very good looking.
Well, thank you so much.
I can picture you 30 years ago. The girls must have gone. They still probably go nuts. But 30 years ago, did they really throw their panties at you and keys and that stuff?
Well, 30 years ago, it was the days of playing with the Firm, with Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers, and then with a band called Blue Murder, which was John Sykes, who's another heartthrob. So, yeah, there was a little bit of that went on.
I mean, it really was. The girls aplenty, like the green room would have naked women waiting for you.
Oh, no, there was never any of that. I mean, here's the thing with the Firm. I mean, we would literally go, talk about the rock star life. We would go from the stage, put the robe around our shoulders, straight into the limousine, straight to the private plane, and then straight back to the hotel.
So where was the snatch?
There had to be some in there. There's no way.
All I ever heard I know a lot of rock guys over the years. All I ever heard was, man, the chicks and the coke and the partying and oh wow, is it cool? And now I'm an old man. I don't do any of that shit anymore.
Well, as I like to say, the party's over, but at least we went to the party.
Yeah.
Right. Scott in Pennsylvania is killing himself now. What he wouldn't do for a little snatch on the side. He's married, very married. You know, Pennsylvania married, like Quaker.
Actually, people in the chat room are saying, hello, you're iconic on the axe. It's great to meet you. And we have this guy, Dave Hughes, who says he lives 60 miles from Derby.
Oh,
Derby.
I know.
Sorry.
Derby's James, my friend James Jessup, who lives not far from there, took me to Derby, and it was the tiniest, cutest little streets and pretty little stores. And I bought a round thing to put tea in. I can't find them in this country. You know, tea ball where you
Yeah.
put the tea in the metal ball and you put it in the cup. I had to go to an antique store to find it, and we bought it in Derby. They have quaint little shops. It's a little big town, right?
Well, it is, but you know what's interesting about Derby? There's no other musicians that I'm aware of that came from there that went on to, you know, big things. It's known for industry. The headquarters of British Rail is there, and the headquarters of Rolls-Royce aero engines too. So going back to World War II, when the famous Merlin engine was made, it went in the Spitfire and all the classic British airplanes. That was a lot of that. So there's only one other bass player or one other musician that I know from Derby who happens to be a bass player, and that was, rest in peace, it was John Wetton, who used to be in the band King Crimson and Asia. And we were both born in the same small village that holds about 500 people in this place called Willington, Derby. And that's the only other musician I've known that's come from Derby. So,
And he's a superstar too.
Yeah,
wow.
he was another big
Asia. That's Asia and King Crimson is
Tell
huge.
me, what did you think of the Beatles? Did you think they were commercial and not so great, and that their music really wasn't music? It was kind of like Frank Sinatra with an English accent.
Well, I actually grew to love the Beatles more at the time. You know, I was young and I liked a lot of the early stuff, you know, the more kind of pop stuff. And I was a little young to really appreciate some of the heavier stuff. So but I love the Beatles now. And so, yeah, that you can't deny their influence. I think they're amazing.
Do you live someplace near Worcester? Because somebody said Worcestershire sauce is where the sauce is made. Maybe that's where Dave lives. Is Worcester near?
Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, well, everywhere's close in England. You got to remember that.
Right. I was there also. I was in Worcester also. I did the whole northern portion of England, all the way down to the tropical part. What is that part which has palm trees and beaches?
Tropical part? No, that would be Spain.
No. It's you can go to Spain from it. You know where I'm talking about? Brighton, not Brighton. I was in Brighton.
Well, yeah,
No,
there's Brighton. Yeah.
But they have palm trees where I was. It's warm there.
Are you sure they were real?
You know what? I think they were. It was all the way in South England, all the way down, and if you swam across, you could go to Spain. I forgot what it's called,
France.
France, right? But it's what the hell was it called? It's a beautiful. They're famous for their bathhouses and beaches, and maybe it was Brighton.
Well, it would have been Brighton then. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's very much a cosmopolitan vibe, and
right.
It has a lot of different influences there. I actually used to live fairly close to there. But to put Britain in perspective, now not only England, but you got Scotland as well. The whole of Great Britain, from the very bottom to the very top, you can fit that into California 2.5 times.
Right.
So England itself is half of that. It's only about 300 miles from top to bottom. And it's really tiny. Everywhere's
that's
close.
just like us going. That's like us driving to LA and back.
When I go to England, which is often, I stay at Lancashire, where my friend James Jessup owns the Baker Farm or Baker something, which is a historical it's a huge farm, and on it they have medieval castle and a church with medieval coffins with the knights in shining armor. This cut. It was a fascinating place, and I like Lancashire. And he's opposite Holland.
Now, hang on. I think Lancashire. That's a street in LA. But you mean Lancashire?
Lancashire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Northern England.
Yes. Yeah. In Lancashire, there's a very famous holiday or seaside resort town called Blackpool. And Blackpool has been a very interesting hub for me over the years. I first met Jimmy Page there. I hung with Roy Harper, then met Cozy Powell. I met Carmine Appice and all these different people. And that happened. And yet Blackpool is like this, I guess, blue-collar holiday resort that's right in the middle or in between where Scotland, Wales, England, and Ireland all meet. You can easily get there from get to there from all those places. So it's really nothing glamorous, and yet I've met a lot of influential players there. But Britain is scattered.
Hang on. I gotta say something.
Wait, let me finish.
Hang on, I gotta say something because a lot of people are asking questions. So you guys, if you can't see us right now, go to w4cy.com, hit the Talk 4 TV button, and it'll take you right to the live video where you can watch everything live.
James took me to a pub that goes back to the days of the Cavaliers. Okay, the time of Louis. The ceilings were maybe 6. My hair was almost brushing against the ceiling. The beer there was to drop dead from. It was like syrup. It was gorgeous. It was dark. And I drank it with such gusto. I don't ever remember leaving. James had to get stoned. I was stoned out of my head. James and his friend picked me up, carried me out to the car, and took me back to the house. I remember nothing. But boy, was that beer delicious. I wish I had a glass of it now.
Yeah, no, those pubs, they go back to the 1500s and all that. It's amazing, and people.
And the beer was the same formula as they had back then, so those people really know how to drink.
They're saying at the world famous tower. So they said John Robb is from Blackpool. Do you know John Robb? He's like in the Membranes.
No, but I know
the lead singer.
I feel like I should. Yes.
Yeah, he's the lead singer, and he also owns the magazine Louder Than War, which is one of the biggest music magazines like in the world. But anyway, so yeah, it's very, very cool. So also Eileen joined us in the chat room. Say hi to Eileen. Eileen Shapiro, you know Eileen.
Oh, hi, Eileen.
Who doesn't know Eileen?
Everybody knows Eileen and her beautiful boobs.
Okay, don't do that. Now listen, everyone out there, we go to the Dome in downtown Los Angeles. Wisdome in downtown Los Angeles several times. And a group of terrific, famous, wonderful musicians get together, unrehearsed, and they do a job that nobody else can do. Of course, this guy in front of me plays a 4-string bass, and of course, our dear friend Scott Page, he plays with himself. He plays with. Oh no, I'm not. Oh, he not only does he play with himself, but he plays the saxophone. And you got to go to the Wisdome and hear
and see
them.
the Think Experience.
Shut the fuck up! I'm talking. It's
name.
Pink Floyd. They play all the music from Pink Floyd while you lay there a little buzzed, looking at the ceiling at all the gorgeous graphics that fly around you. It's a trip and a half.
It's a 3D experience.
Now, this is my segue too. Play that baby for me. Show everybody what you could do.
All right. Well, hang on. I'm just going to turn the amp on. So hang on. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, we have dead air.
Well, no, we don't have dead air. So
here we go. See, I didn't take long, did it? See,
no, it didn't.
I love the shirt you have on too, by the way.
You look terrific.
Oh, thank you. This is from a company called Rock, Roll, and Soul. And
nice. Cool.
Yeah, they're in LA. So anyway, I'm why am I known as the fretless monster? Because this is the fretless bass. So it has. You look on here, the normal basses or the regular basses have the fret lines. Don't know if you can see that.
Yes, yes.
So this doesn't. So it makes it a little bit of a different, expressive kind of instrument. It's very expressive. And yeah, imagine if the human voice had the frets, it would be very, very stiff. So this one's like that, but it just has that real freedom of expression. So anyway,
and that's yours, right? That's your, like, Fender makes that guitar for you. That's like that's the Tony Franklin fretless bass.
It is the Tony Franklin fretless bass, and it's been in production since 2006. I don't know if you can see that, but there's my signature on the back.
Oh, that's so cool.
Now, how much does that cost if you want to buy one?
Gosh, I think around 13 or 1500.
That's not bad.
They're US made, and so they're high quality instruments. So yeah, they've made them. It's an incredible honor. I mean, I'm part of the Fender legacy. My bass is in the Fender lineup. It's incredible.
I love that. That's so cool.
I hope they give you money for that.
Right. All the signature artists get their royalty rate, so Fender's very good with that.
Because
There you go.
we have so many friends in the music business that get screwed constantly out of money. It's a sin. Really a sin.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we've all been there. It's a brutal business, that's for sure.
All right, so
But
play
anyway,
us something.
here we go. I hope you can hear that. Is it
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that's so
that-
fucking cool.
That's good. Now, can you sing to that?
Wait, hold. All right, so here.
I'm happy to see you kept your long hair all those years because it's such a part of rock and roll. Long hair. I used to have long hair, and I looked like Jennifer Jones, so I had to cut my hair. You know who Jennifer Jones was, the movie star? Woman.
I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, and her name rings a bell, but I'm thinking of Bridget Jones. That's something different, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah, that's Bridget Jones.
Well,
That's a great movie, though.
I had a head of hair that women used to hate me because I'd wash it and it fell into waves and curls. It looked like I went to the hairdresser. And they'd say to me, "You're so lucky. Your hair is so beautiful." And I would say, "What about my face?"
So let me do some bragging now. So anybody tuning in now, this is the legendary musician Tony Franklin. He has played with all kinds of wonderful people. I read, and I don't know if this is on your bio or on your Wikipedia or something, but you had your big break in 1984. You were the bassist with The Firm, with Jimmy Page, Paul Rogers, and Chris Slade.
That's right.
You played with Blue Murder, and I've met Carmine Appice a couple of times with John Sykes and Carmine Appice, and I actually went to a Vanilla Fudge concert in Florida, and wait, now we lost part of your head. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
And I used to be a celebrity clothing designer, and I used to dress Mark Stein, who was like the singer for Vanilla Fudge. Which I'm not sure if they get along.
Yeah, great people.
Yeah, great people. So then, you guys, he's also played with, just to give you some of the names of people that everybody knows: David Gilmour, Kate Bush, Whitesnake, Roy Harper, Pat Travers, Donna Lewis, who's been a guest on the show. Actually,
fantastic. She and I are long time friends.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and I also know that you have the Fender Tony Franklin signature model fretless precision bass guitar, which is cool, and then it also says that you released a sample loop library on Sony called Tony Franklin, Not Just Another Pretty Bass. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, that's well, the monster bass. It was their idea. I thought, yeah, that's kind of cool. Not just another pretty bass.
You are good looking. Listen, let's
wait. I want to know what the answer to the question. I just asked him a question.
That question was so dull, I fell asleep.
Who cares? I want to know what it means. What is that?
Well, the usual saying is not just another pretty face. It means that I can play and have talent, and I'm not just a pretty face.
Oh, no, I get that, but what is a loop library? That's like
that bit. That bit. Okay. Yeah, loop library. These days, you can buy pre-recorded loops, musical loops that you can insert into your own music and then create new music from. And so I created this library so that people can have my bass playing on their music. It's very versatile and flexible, and you can have my sound there.
Oh, okay. Now I got it. Okay.
Now let's get down to the real stuff. You married?
I am, yes. Long time, 26 years.
Good for you. How many kids?
2. One's from a former marriage, and then I have a 16-year-old daughter from this one.
Good for you. See, folks, he's not available, so you broads out there better use your vibrators because you're never going to get to date him.
What? So are any of your children musicians?
My youngest, yes, she is, but she's more into the theater side. She likes to dance, sing, and act, and she writes, and she's got it all going. A straight A student. She's just brilliant. So.
Is she as pretty as you? Is she as pretty as you are?
I think she is, but you know what it is. It's the heart, isn't it, that makes people pretty.
Absolutely. There's no question. That's why we love Eileen so much, because Eileen's got two big hearts.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, you've seen Eileen's two hearts. Trust me. She's broken more doors because they get to the door before her hands do to open.
And everybody in the chat room's like cracking up too. Like
I love
it.
you, Eileen. Eileen's coming out again October when?
I don't know, around the 15th.
Around the 15th. So we're getting the study ready for you because we don't have a guest room. We have a studio here, and we put her in the study. And she loves it because the study's a little room and she keeps it dark and she smokes away and does her writing.
So let's go. Let's talk music stuff though then. So like, because basically like you know all the like music like legends like probably know all of them. Like if you were like had a bucket list of the musicians you haven't played with yet, because you've already. I mean like I also read someplace that you when you were with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, you guys opened for Van Halen, which I love Van Halen. Like that's like that 80s rock.
Did you ever play with Earl Palmer, who was a good friend of mine? Drummer Earl Palmer. Yeah.
No, never played with him.
Yeah, he was a sweet guy, nice fella, Earl. Could he play the Skins like nobody? Boy, was he good. We used to go to the
he's one of the legendary greats. He is. Yeah, absolutely.
And a hell of a nice guy. We used to go to the Baked Potato a lot over in the Valley. Yeah. And Earl would be, jiving with a lot of other cool guys, and the music was phenomenal.
So wait, go back. So you've worked with like so many cool people. Who haven't you had a chance to like play with that you think, oh my God, it'd be really cool? Or have you already played with everybody?
No, I haven't played with everybody. Gosh, people, I get asked that quite a bit, and it's not like I'm craving like anybody that I would love to play with. I would love to have another go around with the firm, to be honest, with Jimmy Page, because back then, that was 30 plus years ago. I was 22 when that was happening, and 22, 23, 24, and so young, and crazy party days. We were all partying quite a bit. We're all clean and healthy and all that now, and it would be so cool to do that again with everybody just being in a great space and a great place. But
that's a cool answer.
Yeah, so it's like almost doing it. It would be like a new band, really. So, but I don't have. I mean, I love Stevie Wonder. I've never played with him. If Queen ever needed a replacement bass player,
yeah, that's a good one.
How about Jimi Hendrix?
Well, that might be a little bit of a stretch unless they do the hologram thing with him.
No, I mean, I don't mean now. I mean, what you think
back
of
then? And did you ever play with him?
What everybody, a lot of people I know used to idolize him, and they patterned themselves after him.
He was just a unique force of nature, as far as I was concerned, and there's no denying his brilliance. He was channeling something that was even beyond himself. So yeah, I mean. It really depends at what age I'd be at, because when I was younger, I didn't fully grasp it or understand it. Now, it would be amazing, but it's hard to picture it really, because it was the time that Hendrix was in was so perfect for him then. Him coming out now, would it be the same? Would it have the same impact? It's impossible.
No, it wouldn't.
No. Well, he was from my day, because I'll be 80 in May. So he was from my time.
Well, you look amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I just can't move my face, but I look no. But he was just absolutely the thing in my day.
Of course, yeah. I mean, and especially when he hit, there was nothing like it. It was so new and so fresh and so different, and just. His performance. I was at the grounds where Woodstock happened just a month or so ago. And it's funny because he was on the bill, and because everything got delayed, he actually performed on the Monday morning. Now, there were almost 500,000 people at Woodstock, but by the time he performed, there were 30,000 people. It's like because people were going home. It was Monday morning and coming back to work and all that stuff. And so, but him playing there and playing the Star Spangled Banner with everything that was happening in the world, it's like it was a moment in time that just, it's like the Beatles came along, and did they define the genre, or did they shape it? It's a bit of both. And so there isn't that climate these days. So, Hendrix and the Beatles, they were just perfect for their time.
He bought a house in Woodstock, and he lived there for many years. And when we went up to Woodstock, that's all I heard was everything about Jimi Hendrix. And I was so sorry that I had never met him.
So there's a ton of I got like 4 questions. But first of all, in the chat room, they want to know: have you ever played or worked with anybody from Guns N' Roses? And then they asked about Eric Clapton. Have you played with Eric Clapton, or have you played with anybody from Guns N' Roses?
I haven't played with Eric Clapton, but we have met and we chatted about football, English football, for a few minutes, and that was cool. I know Duff McKagan pretty well. I've actually jammed with Slash and done a few things with him over the years. Most of it won't be known in this country. We did a recording session for a huge superstar Italian artist called Vasco Rossi. And then we jammed together in New Zealand, of all places. There was this guitar festival that was happening down there, and a few other things. We did a Florida guitar show back in the mid '90s. So I've done a few things with Slash. I've jammed with Gilby Clarke a few times, and with what was his name? Dizzy Reed, the keyboard player that was with them for a little bit. I know Matt Sorum, and I know Duff. So I've actually kind of crossed paths with quite a few of them, really.
I know Steven Adler, so I bring up the one that you missed.
Actually, no, I forgot Steven Adler. We did the Rock and Roll Fancy Camp together.
There you go.
So we jammed that a few times.
Have you ever had a hidden desire to play with Doris Day?
Doris Day, I love Doris Day. Que sera, sera. I mean, back in the day, she was just absolutely gorgeous, wasn't she? I mean, she had this. But I know you're laughing, but I'm serious. I love her.
I do too.
He loves her.
I had the pleasure of having a very long phone conversation with her years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't meet her, but we spoke on the phone. I was trying to get her on my TV show, and she was absolutely the sweetest, most delightful thing you ever want to meet, and so kind and considerate of me, and almost apologizing why she wouldn't come on our TV show. And as she explained, she's gotten older, heavier, and doesn't look like Doris Day much, and didn't want the public to see that. So, she's a sweetie.
He also likes Johnny Mathis. Have you ever done anything with Johnny Mathis?
Johnny.
I haven't done anything with Johnny Mathis, although I played Misty more than a few times with my parents' band growing up. So yeah, no. I know Johnny Mathis.
That's awesome.
I love him.
That's his absolute favorite, is Johnny Mathis.
And I've met him a few times, and he's terrific. He's a sweetheart.
He seems like it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a very introverted, quiet, shy, sweet man. Very considerate, very well-mannered, very polite.
And doesn't he have like a 4.5 octave vocal range? But you never hear him use it. He's supposed to have like this amazing vocal range.
Yeah, but no longer. That was in his younger years. He did. Now he's not able to do the. I've seen him live, and he doesn't. It changes. Lainie Kazan is 79 like me, same age as I am. And Lainie Kazan had a violin in her throat all her life. And now things change. As you get to be in your 70s, your vocals don't work. And Johnny's in his 80s. So, he does very well for a man of 83 years old.
Pure voice he has. I love his voice.
But he can't hit the high C's anymore.
No,
he doesn't go up. He doesn't go up there anymore.
Oh, it says play Misty for me. Do you know how to play Misty on your bass? Can you play Misty?
On my own. Would I wander?
They all want to know that, and then after that, I have another question I want to ask, and we need to. First of all, give a shout out real quick to B. Claudia. She's in Germany. She's one of our coolest people I know.
Where is she in Germany? Which city?
I don't know. Where are you in Germany, B? Type it in there. And I
thought she was from Berlin.
I'm not sure if she's from Berlin, actually. She's so fabulous.
I thought Hamburg or Berlin, one of them.
We'll find out. But she's one of the coolest ladies we know. We love her to death. So we always have everybody give her a shout out. She hasn't said where she's from. Bonn, Germany, next to Cologne.
Okay. Yeah, great. I love Germany. I want to go back and play that. They just love their music.
Yes, they do. All right, so now give us a little Misty.
Well, of course, if I was just playing it as a bass player, it'd be very, very simple because you'd just do the root notes, right? But I know what people really want to hear. They want to hear the melody, don't they?
Yes. That's so cool.
There you go.
They love it. That's so cool.
This wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from
So wait
my
a second.
glove.
So what?
I get misty just holding you near. You can say that you're leading me on, but it's just what I want you to do. I forgot the rest. Noticing how hopelessly in love I am. I can sing
love
to
it.
I can sing to that. My own. Would
So
I
also
wonder?
then, somebody people in the channel are talking about John Sykes. What do you have coming up with John Sykes? Do you have something
Yeah,
coming up
I know
with John
everybody's
Sykes?
excited about that. Well, John and I, go back 30 years, 32 years we've known each other. And so, John's been wanting to, there's always talking, people get excited, get Blue Murder back together. John wants to do more than just Blue Murder. He wants to play, his catalog of music that he's been involved with, from Whitesnake to Thin Lizzy and, of course, Blue Murder. And new stuff as well. So John wants to play a broader catalog of stuff. So we've been jamming together for a good few months now with a new drummer, and we want to get out there and play some shows. So probably I'm thinking next year we'll be getting out there.
Are you going to be in the new upcoming show that No is in along with
No.
Scott Page?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that's different.
That's a different gig. I don't know.
Probably is. I haven't heard about it, so yeah, probably.
Well, they should definitely have you in. Did you hear that, Scott Page? I think
It's just a one-night show.
But they're doing it the Wisdom, aren't they?
No, it's just a
Where are they
one-night
doing
show.
it? Well, let's plug it. Let's push it.
We don't have any of the information yet.
Anyway, folks, soon you're going to hear some great music. When we have the info, we'll give it to you.
We want you to go. You're going to go to the event. We're going to get you going because Eileen and I are running the red carpet for the event, and we have to find rock stars to come.
Yeah, so you have to come.
And so you'll definitely come as a rock star. And we got another event in January called Nam Jam that they're putting together some stuff for that we might think that might be fun with you. Because a lot of the other people from the Think Experience show are going to be in it. So everybody, too, you guys, we met Tony Franklin at the Think Experience, Beyond the Wall, Pink Floyd Experience at the Wisdom with the super group of Tony Franklin, who was switches off, I guess, with Fishbone. I don't know exactly. I know he got hurt, and that's how you got brought in.
Norwood Fisher is the bass player of Fishbone. And he was originally doing the gig. And then he had a skateboarding accident and broke his wrist. And so I got a call at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Could I be there at 5 o'clock that evening and play a show? And I live a couple of hours away. So I said, yeah, sure, of course, because otherwise the show would not go on. And as we know, the show must go on.
Must go on.
So,
but anyway,
I did my homework and played the show that night. And I've done quite a few since.
As a closing note, I want everybody watching us to know that this man is a superstar, very famous, and he should be a snobby son of a bitch, but he is not. I have spoken to him at the Dome. He is one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, and if you met him, he makes you feel like He knows you forever, and you're his best friend. So everybody, love the man, love his music. Thank you
Also,
so much for being
hang
on
on,
our show.
wait. So you have 2 solo albums, right? Now we have like 2. We have a couple other questions that we got to do.
I thought we were winding up.
No, I didn't say that. 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes.
Can I poke your eyes
I
out?
didn't say we were winding up. I always tell you when we're winding up. I didn't say we were winding up. I want to know.
You're a whiny little
You
bitch.
have 2 solo albums, right? Like that you've done. Let's try and get some sales and sell some shit for you. Like you have 2 solo albums.
The guitar's $1,300. Buy it. 10 years from now, it'll be 2,000, 3,000.
No, go back. Tell us about you have 2 solo albums, right? And a bass instructional DVD that's out for sale.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the solo albums came out, but they were only released in Japan, so those are not going to be available.
It's got to go on eBay and find them.
Yeah, but I don't see any of that, so don't bother. But no,
Okay.
Hey, if you want to plug or anything, then you can find me all over the internet. Fretless Monster is everything. It's Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and all the Facebook, of course. All the main outlets, I'm there under Fretless Monster, so people can find me. It's all me, and I'm very active in that and post a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, you can follow me along there. I do have an fretless bass instructional course where I put together a very methodical and thoughtful, I think, detailed course about how to really improve your fretless bass playing, and that's on with a company called TrueFire, and that's exactly as it sounds, TrueFire. They are probably one of the best companies. They have literally thousands of instructional courses that include Steve Vai, Frank Zappa, a lot of the greats. Mine's the only one that is the fretless bass, and it's been getting some great responses. People are saying it's really been helping them. So you can look it up. I'm very active and very busy. And this weekend I'll be in Vegas at the Hard Rock Hotel playing with Raiding the Rock Vault. It's my first shows with them. It's a pretty fun show. So I'm going to be doing that and actually going to England with them in December as well. And while we're on with the shameless plugs, I'm going to be I do quite a bit with the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp.
I was going to bring that up. Okay, that was my last thing I wanted to bring up. Okay, so tell us about that. Tell us about that, because that's a cool thing.
Well, yeah, it's now in its 23rd year, and Rock Camp is like the ultimate rock and roll fantasy camp where people come in and have a 4-day experience, and there are different themes. They've had Kiss ones where Paul Stanley and some of the guys from Kiss will come in. They've had Gene Simmons there, and they have a Deep Purple one. There's an upcoming one. It's going to actually be a Beatles-themed one, celebrating the music of the Beatles with Cheap Trick. And all the campers come in, and they will play at the Whiskey A Go-Go with Cheap Trick.
Yeah, that's cool as could be.
It's pretty wild. And so I'm there as a rock star counselor. I'm there to counsel and make sure everybody's ready. I give classes, master classes, lots of jams and everything. It's a very fun and life-changing thing. I mean, I've had friends there from campus that have been lifelong friends. I see them when I'm on the road, and we do stuff together. It really is a very, very special thing. And also, they have a movie that's coming out next year, which I'm apparently quite prominently featured in. So
yay!
They call me the camp philosopher because I'm always the one that. Giving insights and, how to deal with life and all that stuff and stage fright and all the business and all that. I'm the Zen master. So it's a lot of cool things that happen at Rock Camp.
Is that all ages? Is that like all ages or just kids, or is it any age that can go to Rock Camp?
Any age, and it is a bit of it's not a cheap ticket because you are interacting with all these high-end people, and so superstars. I mean, even bigger than me. So
how much is a ticket? How much is a ticket?
I don't know. They vary. You'd have to go to rockcamp.com and have a look.
I saw though that you've done it with Zakk Wylde, Warren Hayes, Steve Vai, Ginger Baker from Cream, David Crosby. I mean, those are all like huge. Like those are huge people. Like I actually met Zach Wilde once. He was cool.
Oh yeah, Zach Wilde's a sweetheart, and I've actually done a bunch of stuff with him as well. So I love Zach. He's a character.
I love it. All right, everybody. So this is Tony Franklin. His Twitter and Instagram and everything is at Fretless Monster, FRETLESS Monster, MONSTER. He's fretlessmonster.com. And follow him on all your social media. Say you saw him on the show. And we want to thank you for coming on the show. And when the DVD comes out, we'll have you come back and maybe get some of the people and do like a big show. Like we actually did a Think Experience show where we had everybody come on at the same time. We had Steven and Norris and Norris Fishbone.
Yeah, Norwood.
Yeah, Norwood. I was like
Norwood.
retarded. I had a retarded feeling, but we had everybody on at one time, and like all on a split screen. It was really cool. So when you're ready to promote the video, we'll have some people come back and we'll promote it. It'll be a lot of fun. But we wish you all the luck in everything that you're doing and all the success. And we want to thank you for coming on the show.
Tony,
Hey,
thanks a
for
lot.
having me. It's been a blast. It really has. Thank you so much.
It's fun for us too. Take good care, babe.
Bye.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, guys.
Bye
Thanks,
bye.
everyone.